Phil Foden, once hailed as one of the brightest talents in world football, has shockingly disappeared from the spotlight this season. With no goals and just a single assist in 13 matches, even after winning Player of the Year last season, is it time we start questioning his form? And why is the media staying silent? Stick around as we dive deep into why Foden has fallen off this season and what it could mean for his future at Manchester City and for England. A lack of goal contributions. One of the most striking aspects of Foden's recent performances is his inability to contribute to Manchester City's attacking output. As of the 2024-2025 season, Foden has yet to score a single goal in any domestic competition, including the Premier League and the EFL Cup. Despite playing 13 matches, the player who was once hailed as the Premier League Player of the Season and PFA Player of the Year last year has only registered a single assist. For a player who has been integral to Manchester City's success over the last few seasons, this sudden drop in production is alarming. This lack of contribution has not gone unnoticed, particularly after Manchester City's disappointing 2-0 loss to Liverpool. Fans took to social media, mocking Foden for his lack of impact, but instead of letting his performances do the talking, Foden responded by posting images of his previous successes, including winning the Player of the Year award in the previous season. While many players would aim to prove their worth on the pitch, Foden's decision to engage with critics on Instagram only added fuel to the fire, as his form continued to falter. A double standard in media coverage. What is perhaps most puzzling is the lack of mainstream media scrutiny surrounding Foden's struggles. While fans on social media and football pundits have been vocal about his poor form, there has been little to no criticism from major media outlets. Foden's drop in performance, especially when compared to his incredible performances last season, has largely flown under the radar. This is in stark contrast to how other players, particularly those who fall out of form, are treated by the media. The disparity in media treatment is especially baffling when we consider that Foden was arguably Manchester City's best player last season. Not only was he named Manchester City's Player of the Season, but he also won the Premier League Player of the Season and the PFA Player of the Year awards. These accolades were well-deserved, as Foden played a central role in Manchester City's domestic and European triumphs. Yet despite his recent poor form, Foden seems to be receiving an unusual amount of protection from the media. Struggles on the international stage. Foden's struggles have not been limited to his club performances. His time with the England national team has been equally underwhelming, further raising questions about his recent decline. Despite the high expectations placed on him following a standout season with Manchester City, Foden's performances for England during Euro 2024 were far from impressive. In the tournament, Foden was expected to play a key role for Gareth Southgate's side, but instead he was largely a non-factor. He failed to make a significant impact in crucial matches, often fading into the background while other players stepped up. This lack of influence in such an important competition was puzzling, especially considering Foden's form for Manchester City just months earlier. In fact, Foden's time with the England squad has been marked by a series of disappointing performances, with the player failing to register any goal contributions in his last 15 appearances for the national team. Since December 2022, Foden has only made a single goal contribution for England, scoring in a friendly match against Scotland in September 2023. This lack of impact has led to widespread criticism of his ability to perform on the international stage. Many have pointed to Foden's inability to adapt to England's less structured approach as one of the key reasons for his struggles. While Pep Guardiola's meticulous system at Manchester City allows Foden to thrive, the lack of tactical cohesion in the England squad seems to leave him stranded and unable to influence the game in the same way. A system player? While Foden's struggles with England can be partly attributed to tactical mismanagement and a lack of cohesion, another key factor in his recent form appears to be the system in which he plays. At Manchester City, Foden is part of Pep Guardiola's well-oiled machine, where every player's movement is rehearsed and each player knows their role in the system. This environment has allowed Foden to showcase his talents, particularly his ability to make runs into tight spaces and exploit the smallest of gaps in opposition defenses. However, England's more fluid approach does not play to Foden's strengths. Under Guardiola, Foden's positional awareness and tactical understanding are optimized, allowing him to thrive. But in the less structured environment of international football, he appears to be struggling to adapt. This was particularly evident in Euro 2024, where Foden's performance was a far cry from the dynamic, creative player seen at Manchester City. It's also worth noting that Foden's reliance on Guardiola's system might be limiting his growth as a player. While Guardiola's tactics are undoubtedly effective, they also require a high degree of tactical discipline and understanding, which can make it difficult for younger players to break out of the mold. If Foden is to develop into a more versatile player capable of performing well in a variety of systems, he will need to step out of his comfort zone and adapt to different styles of play. Impact of injuries at Manchester City. Another factor contributing to Manchester City's struggles this season, and by extension, Foden's struggles, has been the series of injuries that have plagued key players. With players like John Stones, Mateo Kovacic, and Rodri all spending time on the sidelines, City has found it difficult to maintain the same level of dominance they displayed in previous seasons. John Stones' absence, in particular, has been felt heavily in defense. In the 3 Champions League matches that Stones missed, City lost twice, and their defense appeared to lack cohesion. In the Premier League, City's form has also been affected, with the team dropping points in key matches. The absence of key midfielders like Kovacic and Rodri has also taken a toll on City's overall balance. Rodri, in particular, has been vital in City's midfield, providing stability and helping to control possession. Without these key players, the team has looked disjointed, which has undoubtedly had an impact on Foden's ability to influence games. Additionally, Foden's connection with Kevin De Bruyne has been a key factor in his success at Manchester City. De Bruyne's ability to thread precise through balls into space has been crucial in unlocking defenses and allowing Foden to thrive. However, with De Bruyne struggling with injuries and not at his best, Foden has found it much harder to operate in the same way. The absence of De Bruyne's creativity and vision has left Foden unable to capitalize on the runs he is so good at making. Mental and psychological struggles. While Foden's tactical struggles and injury woes have undoubtedly played a role in his form, the psychological pressure he is under cannot be ignored. Entering the 2024-2025 season with the weight of monumental accolades from the previous campaign, Foden is now expected to replicate his success consistently. This pressure has clearly taken its toll on the young player. The mental burden of living up to his previous performances, combined with the disappointment of his underwhelming Euro 2024 campaign, has led to signs of hesitancy and overthinking on the pitch. Foden no longer exudes the same level of confidence and hunger that made him such a dynamic player last season. Instead, he seems to be weighed down by the expectation that he must always be at his best, leading to a lack of urgency in his play. In addition to the pressure from his own expectations, Foden is also under intense scrutiny from fans, pundits, and the media. As Manchester City's struggles continue, the eyes of the football world are increasingly turning toward him to deliver. However, whether Foden is mentally prepared to take on this responsibility is still in question. Can Foden turn it around? Despite his recent struggles, there is no denying that Phil Foden is an incredibly talented player. His technical skills, footballing intelligence, and ability to make things happen in tight spaces are all signs of a player capable of reaching the very top of the game. However, for Foden to turn his form around, he will need to make significant changes both on and off the pitch. First and foremost, Foden must address the mental and psychological pressures that have been weighing him down. Rather than using social media to deflect criticism, he needs to focus on performing on the pitch and letting his game do the talking. If he can rediscover his confidence and hunger, there is no reason why he cannot return to his best. Additionally, Foden will need to adapt to different styles of play. While Pep Guardiola's system at Manchester City has brought the best out of him, he must learn to operate in different tactical setups, especially with England. If he can do this, he will not only become a more complete player, but also a more consistent one. Finally, Foden must step up for Manchester City in their time of need. With the team facing a challenging season, the pressure is on their star players to deliver. Foden has the talent to make a significant impact, but he must prove that he can handle the responsibility. Phil Foden has undoubtedly been a key player for Manchester City in the past, but his current form raises serious questions. It's up to him to step up, regain his confidence, and show the world that the golden boy of English football isn't done yet. What do you think? Can Foden turn it around this season? Or is this the beginning of a downfall? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more football analysis and updates. See you next time.